I'm Lucie Fink. I'm a video producer at Refinery29, but every so often I like to try other people's jobs. I'm spending the day with Chelsea White of Chel Sweets to learn the ropes when it comes to being a food content creator. This is Lucie for Hire.
Chelsea White is not your typical content creator. Her subject is cake. Layers upon layers upon layers of it.
I started making cakes about 6 years ago, and it was really just a great way for me to unwind after work and kind of have a creative outlet from working in public accounting at the time.
4 years, over 600 cakes, and almost 650,000 Instagram followers later, and Chel Sweets is still unique from most content creators.
Something a lot of people don't know about me is that I actually have a full-time day job in corporate finance, and that Chel Sweets is really just a side hustle for me.
It's not every day you meet someone with 650,000 Instagram followers who says their Instagram business is their side hustle.
Money, 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 money. When it comes to money, I obviously still have my day job where I do have a 6-figure salary. And a lot of people I think would be surprised to know that with Chel Sweets I make almost twice my corporate salary. Part of it is through ongoing partnerships with different networks. And then I also have some revenue come in from advertising on different platforms like on my blog or on YouTube and things like that.
My first challenge was to create the cake concept. I'm a content creator of my own. I'm making videos and telling stories all the time. But Chelsea's audience repeatedly comes back for one thing and one thing only: cake. So she needs to be continually innovating and coming up with the next big cake idea.
So the first part of this is going to be coming up with kind of the design and the concept of the cake that you're going to make.
It's important to note that Chelsea typically spreads her work out over the course of a few days.
One day after work I'll make the layers, another day I'll prep frosting, I'll get everything ready, and then on the weekends one day I'll decorate the cake and film it. And then I like to usually edit it the following day or the following week whenever I have time.
But for the purposes of this episode, she challenged me to do it all in one day only. We began by brainstorming the way Chelsea typically does, pulling up inspiration images online and sketching out designs in a notepad. We came up with a few thought starters, scratched a few ideas, and then ultimately settled on a holiday-themed present cake.
Okay, here's our idea. Red buttercream Christmas cake shaped like a package with a white fondant bow, red, green, and white tie-dye Christmassy layers inside. This is it.
It's going to be beautiful.
This is the one. All right, let's get started.
Let's do this.
We got to work making the cake batter, mixing all the ingredients, and then creating rings of red, white, and green that would ultimately make the inside of the cake look very cool.
So you want to, get it like inside of that, and then it'll eventually start having that really fun pattern.
We popped them into the oven and moved on to my second challenge, setting up and prepping for the shoot. For people interested in creating their own food content, this part of the video should give you some great insights into how Chelsea works.
So for my setup, I really like to use 2 of these, I call them umbrella lights. I'm not sure what their technical name is, but I think that's right. And I also have a tripod that has like a pivoting head, which makes it really great because if your legs are a little bit uneven or your floor is a little uneven, which mine is, it's really great having that and being able to adjust. But that's all it is 2 lights, a tripod, and a camera that can shoot video.
She uses adjustable softbox lighting and a Canon Rebel T5. And she keeps her lights set up in her apartment all the time for easy access. Is it always like this?
It is always there. My poor fiance has to stare at it 24/7, but there's nowhere else to put them, so that's where they hang out.
I have lights like this in my bedroom, so production life.
Yep.
We worked together to move them and assemble the lights into the right position. And afterwards, we popped the camera onto the tripod and made sure it was level and centered with the cake stand.
I think that looks pretty good.
Yeah, it looks
like
centered, looks nice.
It's important to have all of the ingredients you'll need pre-prepped and ready to go, so that once the camera starts rolling, you're ready to work. So we trimmed the cakes.
We got Lucie Sweets in the kitchen today. She is making moves, trimming some cake layers.
Just call me Lucie Sweets.
And gathered our essentials.
There's the fondant.
My third challenge was to shoot. While filming these videos, Chelsea's running the camera and lighting by herself, but she's also the one in the video making the cake. So she's managing the technical side, but also the creative side as well. This challenge involved a lot of technical skills. Firstly, frosting a cake properly is not easy. As I was working, I realized how different Chelsea's job is from a classic cake maker. She's not just making the cake and hoping the finished product looks and tastes great, but her art is actually the process of making the cake. At every step of the way, she needs to be aware of the camera, how low the battery is, what the lens is focusing on, and if she's working on an area of the cake that's within the camera's view.
Yeah.
How do you do it so I have to start from here?
Yep, exactly. It's all about the reach.
This challenge took the longest amount of time, but the final payoff was magical. Once the shoot was wrapped, my final challenge was editing and programming the content appropriately.
I use iMovie to edit my videos, which is just a free software that came with my Mac. It's super simple and straightforward, and I taught myself how to use it. I'm usually only making like 2 or 3 cakes a week, and to kind of help maximize my content and spread that out to fill my feed, I like to divide each cake into one video of like the build and the assembly, and then another video of the decoration and the cut.
I chose to edit my video with Adobe Premiere since it's the software I'm most familiar with at work. Thankfully, I have some video editing skills from my job, so I just pulled all of the footage into the software and began cutting the clips. I exported 2 versions the way Chelsea does, one showing the assembly and frosting of the cake, and another showing decorating and the cut. Stay tuned on my Instagram at LucieBFink for these videos.
My favorite part about being a food content creator is the flexibility. And I mean that in so many different ways, where you can make your cakes when you want, for the most part, minus partnership deadlines. You can try different designs, different techniques. There's not as much pressure because you really have full creative freedom to do whatever you want. You're not confined to an order or a certain flavor that someone wants, so I really love that. My least favorite part about this job, and by job I mean being a cake content creator, has to be sometimes the negativity on social media. You know, people don't realize like how much time you're putting into something and how much work. And I think it's so easy to just like make a simple statement and that's critical. And it just like doesn't make you feel like your time and all of your effort is really being valued.
Overall, my day as Lou Sweets was a major success. My Christmas cake was not only beautiful, but it was delicious too. And I think my Instagram audience will love watching it come together.
As the sole proprietor of Chell Sweets, I would absolutely hire Lucie in a heartbeat. Maybe it'll be called Lou Sweets. Who knows?
Chelsea is blazing the trail for female entrepreneurs that want to build their business on social media. She's a true example of the fact that doing what you love can bring you immense joy and financial gain. And as we all know, cake is always the answer.
Really good.
Hey YouTube, thanks for watching. Click here for another episode of Lucie for Hire, here to subscribe to Refinery29 on YouTube, and here for my personal YouTube channel. There's a car!